The Senate is voting today on a bill that would codify same-sex marriage into law federally. Now, this is causing the right wing to be very upset, as I'm sure you can imagine. Now, one of the things that's interesting about this dynamic is for so long, ever since I got into politics in a pretty significant way, and post it being the Supreme Court decision, Obergefell, making it legal nationwide, ever since that, the Republican Party has tried to convince people, listen, we don't even care about this anymore. Whatever. Yeah, it's legal nationwide. Why do you guys even pretend that we're against, LGBTQ rights at this point? We're not. Whatever. It's not an issue. Blah, blah, blah. But now the second that this has become back into the national spotlight, because we see Clarence Thomas making a statement saying, hey, you know how we looked at Roe v. Wade and ended up overturning it? I think we should also take a look at some of these other past cases, including same-sex marriage. And so that has caused a situation where the Democratic Party is saying, let's, as Congress, act to protect this. So whatever happens at the Supreme Court level, same-sex marriage is protected, even if the Supreme Court overturns that ruling like they did with Roe v. Wade. But I have two right-wing people on their little shows being very upset by the prospect of the Republican Party getting behind this in any way.
With the Democrats taking the Senate,
Ben Shapiro first.
They're now going to move ahead with a vote on a gay marriage bill. Now, what is the purpose of a gay marriage bill? There is no purpose to a gay marriage bill. Obergefell has already been ruled upon.
What is the purpose of a gay marriage bill? There's no purpose of a gay marriage bill. Maybe to protect gay marriage. That would be my guess, Ben.
And a simple gay marriage bill is not even a constitutional amendment. So it's not even above and beyond the Supreme Court ruling. The Supreme Court ruling is still the law. If the Supreme Court ruling were overturned, a quick majority in the Senate could quickly overturn this law.
Guys, that was so dumb. It was so dumb. It's so beautiful. You could see in his eyes that he was getting confused. Wait. What am I saying? No. Codifying this into law federally would be significant, because then if the Supreme Court overturned it like they did with Roe v. Wade, Obergefell, same-sex marriage would still be protected. So this is the argument you hear all the time from Republicans, is less about the correctness of the stance of being in favor of same-sex marriage, instead saying it's not a battle you should even care about. And he will actually get to arguing against the essence of same-sex marriage in a second here, at least from the perspective of Republicans. But that is so stupid, because now, more than any other time, it is so reasonable to want to protect things that not only fall in line in similar type rulings that could be overturned as Roe v. Wade that we just saw get overturned, but also Clarence Thomas explicitly said we should take a look at some of these other past rulings. And so it would be now that we should protect those, so if the Supreme Court acts in the incorrect way, people's rights aren't once again taken away.
Okay, but the idea here is that you're going to get all the Republicans on record as to whether they support or do not support same-sex marriage. Now, let me just put this out there for the Republican senators. If you vote in favor of the idea that society has an obligation to recognize male-male or female-female dyads in the same way that society has an obligation to recognize male-female, you should not be in the Republican Party. You shouldn't. Okay, the reason I say this is not because I wish to shrink the size of the Republican Party. Because if the fundamental basis of human society is male-female child, and you think that by passing a law you can change that reality, you do not belong in government.
And that is the perfect explanation that shows you either the misunderstanding or purposeful ignorance of those in the right wing, at least who hold this position. Because what does he say? If you think you can break down the male-female child structure by protecting the right of people who don't fall within that structure to have full rights, then you shouldn't be in the Republican Party. No one's trying to do that. No one's trying to break down the same or opposite sex couples who have children. No one's going after that. And this is the broken part of that mindset, which is more rights for you means somehow less for me. That's not how it works. How about we do rights across the board where everyone can thrive? But somehow uplifting certain people has to be at the cost of others in the minds of people like Ben Shapiro. Here's Matt Walsh also railing against this.
Any Republican who would sign on to a bill like this, I don't care if they have this weak, they've created this Trojan horse now where they're pretending that they're protecting religious liberty. Doesn't matter. Any Republican who would sign on to that should be exiled from the party. It won't happen because this is the direction the whole party is going, but that's what should happen. These are Republicans who are signing on to something that only 10 years ago would have been too radically far left for even the farthest left people in the Democrat Party.
That's not even historically correct, okay?
10 years ago, there was basically no one in the Democrat Party pushing for this, or very few anyway.
So because we've made a lot of progress, he has no argument. He's just saying the Republican Party of the past never would have signed on to this, so the Republican Party of the present shouldn't either. Great logic there, Matt. So there it is. We are at least at risk of going backwards once again on another issue. We saw the rights of women be stripped away because of the ruling of overturning Roe v. Wade, and we could see a similar thing with Obergefell, and that would be devastating, and we will see how the vote goes today in the Senate. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before any of the clips are uploaded to YouTube, plus get access to an extra full show every Saturday that only members can see, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Luke Beasley. That's patreon.com/Luke Beasley, and there is a link in the description.